the first two here. This I enjoy because I used to listen to this show when I was in California because I'm a glutton for punishment. And John and Ken on Southern California's KFI radio. These guys, honestly, like, I credit where credit's due. They have hurt this country immeasurably. They were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were very, very much a driving force behind the Gray Davis recall, which was, in many respects, a function of Enron. They were also, big proponents against a lot of different. I think at the time, like tax measures. I think at one point, like the Republicans had made it impossible for the legislature to create needed taxes unless they had 2/3 of the assembly. I think they were behind a lot of that stuff. They have a lot of power in that state, so really deeply unattractive people in their souls, and. I don't know what they look like. They're on radio. But here is Bernie Sanders basically, I mean, not in so many words, but telling him to stuff it. So kudos to Bernie Sanders for handing it to a couple of guys who I think are really pretty despicable.
Yesterday, he wrote on Facebook, to Bernie Sanders, we created 11,000 new jobs at Disneyland in the past decade. Our company has created 18,000 in the U.S. in the last 5 years. How many jobs have you created? What have you contributed to the U.S. economy? How do you respond to him?
Well, first of all, I know he's created jobs in California, and he's created jobs in America. He's created a hell of a lot more jobs, unless I'm very mistaken, in China. And, of course, he didn't answer the question. The question was that his guy gets, whatever it is, $42, $46 million a year. Most of their production, the toys and the T-shirts, and all the paraphernalia from Disney are made in China, where people are working for a few bucks an hour. And my point of view, not only for Disney, but for other corporations, it might be a good idea for them to bring production back to the United States of America, pay workers here a decent wage. And by the way, he didn't answer the question. Of course they're paying workers in Disneyland. And of course they use the guest worker program in Florida to replace American workers with lower-wage foreign workers. So all he was saying is denying. I mean, had nothing to say against the point that I make. They pay people wages that are too low. They produce much of their paraphernalia abroad, and the CEO in a very profitable corporation makes $42 million a year.
That's the worst thing, though, right? This H-1B visa where they're putting Americans out of work for no reason.
That's a bad program, and I have opposed it for a long, long time. That's the technology guest worker program. And what it's supposed to be about, theoretically, is if a company can't find a worker, in some place in America, can't find the worker, after desperately looking all around, advertising in the papers, then they should be able to go abroad and hire some foreign worker. That's fine. But what these companies do is not that at all. What they're trying to do is bring in cheap labor from abroad so they don't have to pay American workers a living wage. And this whole business of corporate greed, CEOs getting huge salaries, workers seeing cuts in their health care benefits or their wages, is going on coast to coast. And that's why the middle class is declining and why, frankly, we need a president who's prepared to stand up to them.
Well, you didn't answer the main question about what jobs have you created. It's pretty vague, your background. What have you done in your life?
Vague. Well,
I'm not really clear on what kind of jobs you've had besides senator.
Well, actually, I've been in the U.S. House of Representatives. And actually, before that, I was a mayor of 8 years. You ever been to Burlington, Vermont?
Yes, I have.
Right, but have you ever not been paid by taxpayers?
All right, look, if you don't like government, my friend, that's fine. I'm proud of the record that I've established as a mayor, making Burlington, Vermont one of the more beautiful small cities in America. Proud of my record in the House. Proud of my record in the United States Senate. If you don't like government, that's your point of view.
What a bunch of a-holes. When have these guys ever made a dime that wasn't paid by corporate America? I mean, when have these guys ever made a dime wasn't hawking crap that will clog your arteries? And then,
gold.
The funny part was, too, is that one of these guys, I can't tell the difference between them. And really, I doubt there's a difference. One of them was like, this HB 14. He was trying to make it seem like the government was doing it, and then had this program that the government was foisting upon us that was hurting American workers. But it was the corruption and the cheating by corporations that were doing it. So here's my question to these two morons: when have you ever been paid $1 that wasn't paid for by corruptions who are cheating the American taxpayer? What about the subsidies you get by using our public airwaves? Why don't you do a podcast, you bloodsuckers? Stop leeching off of our American-owned public airwaves.
Tired of subsidizing you.
Tired of it.
It's disgusting.
John and Ken.
Do either of them have glasses?
Yeah.
Year zero.
The guy's
them.
on fire with sniveling evil.
Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.